I'll call the town council meeting to order at 5:33.
Did you give them agendas?
You're not in your right seat, you're supposed to be it. All right, Mr. Buck.
Well, that's fast. You're already to us.
There's a typo on the agenda. So we know to
Where was the
I need my drawing.
read the BFNS.
I'm not seeing anything.
So it's asking.
Oh. I didn't do it, by the way.
Oh, who did?
I was like, I didn't type the agenda, but okay, where's our?
He's not noticing it, so it's all good.
Yeah, we'll share.
She typed your agenda.
It's not any worse than,
I'm glad that's the wrong letter. not the-
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep. So, that's not, you're in our project's agenda. I'll try to go through this as quickly as we can, but if you've got questions or anything, just please don't hesitate to stop me and say, hey, I got a question. Slim this down a little bit, streamline it, because we've got a lot of things complete on these projects. The first one is the Student Record Trail project, as you've probably seen. Construction started earlier this week. Milestones, stripping topsoil and setting grade for the future trail. You can see, especially around the church and the Briar Park area, where the trail is going to be. I said to Colin on the way out here, when we pass that, we need to give notice to make sure that the county highway and the county surveyor's office is aware that we've started. They wanted to be made aware of that pre-con. I don't think that I told them yet. They was moving in Monday. They got the schedule and they're calling the schedule, so hopefully that's not a huge surprise. Milestones completion date remains the same, October 24th this year, and ready for final payment of November 14th. So far, so good. We've got some coordination that we're going to make sure continues for the property owners that easements were acquired from, and I'm working with Tree to make sure we're on the same page with the latest and greatest final version of those commitments, and that our team in the field is aware of those so they can follow what's been agreed to. And we've just found that we do have an approved supplement 3 for inspection on the trail. And we're getting Tree a copy to make sure that we're all on the same page with that number. It is a part-time inspection level, and so we're paying close attention as we get started, how many hours a week our guys are needed out here, and matching it up with milestone schedules so that if they're not working, we're not out here, but we're here at the critical times to make sure things are going well and ask questions and they're following specs. But it's definitely not having a guy out here 40 hours a week kind of level. So, and as we get experience with how the work's progressing into milestone schedule, we can try to forecast that to make sure that we've got enough budget to not exceed, because it's 46,700, which is pretty light for a project that's over $1 million. So, but hopefully milestone moves fast because our costs are all related to time and manpower, how many hours, how many people we have to have on site. So hopefully that we estimated well and we can come in at or under that. And we do have construction inspection in the Fluid Drive CCNG task order. Yeah, the next item, if there's no questions on the trail.
Trail concerns at this point? The dirt,
The dirt.
yeah, so.
So I talked to Julie, the manager out there today
For who?
for Milestone,
Oh,
and they were not aware of Bruce's situation with the dirt whatsoever. She was gonna start scooping it up tomorrow and hauling it off. So what's she gonna do with it? Where's she gonna put it?
well, did someone tell me that he's not even sure he wants it, or is?
So, I heard through the grapevine, okay, Ron,
There was one time I ran into him at the store and he wasn't even sure he was getting the dirt. But evidently he had read sometime between the time we talked back then to now, and he is getting the dirt.
That was what the two attorneys for the town and for the property owner agreed to, but it also says in the same sentence or same paragraph, what you shared with me, that it's to be stored on his property. In a different bullet point, it says that the contractor damages any crops, it can be compensated. So there's no other place on his property that doesn't have crops. So somebody's gonna have to reach out to the property owner and ask, what do you want to do with it? I don't know if there's a different place, it could be stockpile pile that's convenient, but it's gonna be a pretty big pile of dirt.
Yeah, he mentioned to me that it's gonna grow, he'll get the dirt after the crops are harvested.
That's not.
He'll get it
That's
when
not-
it's done, with the dirt. Like,
He
So-
can clear his own path in his own property.
Julie has his phone number, but she wasn't gonna reach out to him until after we talked tonight to decide what to do. And she's like, I'm willing to do whatever. You know, I'm not here to make any enemies, whatever we should work out. There's gotta be something we can do. But
But knowing him, I didn't think we wanted a contractor in the middle of that mess.
Ideally, it'd be something Judd could contact his attorney and pose this question, we don't have a place on his property that is
if
ready.
they're wanting to start digging, they're gonna be there tomorrow.
It already looked like they were taking some.
Yeah, they're moving. On the other side of Fluke, I don't
no.
think she's past Fluke yet.
When
No,
I came home,
That's where we're talking.
okay,
It's from Fluke on out is Rose.
okay.
But she said tomorrow they would be there.
We may need to ask them to give us a few hours in the morning to see if we can make some contact with the property owner to see what they want, if they want that exact dirt, or if they would be willing to take dirt from anywhere along the project to the equivalent volume, and they could dispose of or haul the topsoil wherever Milestone was planning to haul it. But this is, why we need that list of commitments in the contractor's hands and our inspector's hands. So they can be in front of these issues and not have it potentially stop progress. But we're gonna need a few hours in the morning anyway to try to make contact. And I agree, I don't think the contractor should be reaching out to the property until they've already met each other and know who's doing what.
Right.
Sure.
Need some dirt, anybody need dirt?
Yeah. So far, has the town taken some?
Oh,
yeah. We can.
They brought a lot down there. She's gonna bring an excavator down there and start making a mountain out of it. Cause it's a
Do you have
big,
room to take all of it?
yeah,
So it could potentially be offered that we'll take measurements on the volume of the topsoil that's off of his property, which we can do. And
she can just keep hauling what she's been doing, because that's what she thought she was doing. But
or a separate pile, if there's room even to do that, I'm gonna take it. But if there's a pile that's up to the point of that property and then a different pile next to it that's from that property, it'd be pretty.
then it'd be a matter of who's gonna haul it back out.
That's correct. That will keep progress, but it's gonna be a cost for somebody. And I can tell you who's gonna get asked to do
Okay, if you haul the dirt down to the wastewater, that's what we're talking about.
Right, but I'm wondering, are you gonna let him go in and get the dirt? Are you gonna have our guys to?
We can't do it. We don't have the means to haul it.
So if he would agree to do that, we would have a separate pile, but he would have to get it back over there.
Okay,
And assuming he's gonna spread it on the field and keep it on that property, I think that's probably likely, but we should confirm that too.
right.
Okay,
Who's calling him in the morning?
I'm calling Judd in the morning.
Yeah. Any other questions or issues on the trail?
Not that I know of.
As a part of the trail is a separate CCMG project for the public road approach at Fluke Drive, and we should have everything teed up for that, contractually, both with Milestone and for us to do the inspection. They haven't really started anything on that yet, but they will begin that in their schedule when they get to that point of putting in a new culvert. They are allowed to close that intersection, or at least the Fluke Drive side. They're not allowed to close Oxford Street, but they will put up barriers, they can close that when they're working on the site. So it'll go faster. And then we're working on number 3, the Trailhead Park, Briar Memorial Trailhead Park. We're working on shortlisting a list of priorities and park amenities to prioritize, I guess I should say, for benches, shade sail foundations, and things of that nature for us to get a quote from Milestone to do when it's the right time in their schedule, when they're working in that area, to go ahead and say, okay, we'll do this list of however many items that we can fit into the budget or afford to do. And then talked to Treva this morning, there may be some other locations for patching, asphalt patching, primarily the intersection of Main and Oxford, to do a fairly sizable patch, full depth patch there to get that intersection smoothed out, and then maybe some work on South Main, south of near 6th Street. Again, that's going to all be contingent on them doing it when they're here doing that type of work to get the best price and make it go the smoothest for everybody. So, any questions on that stuff? Also for CCMG, there's a 25-1 project that's crack sealing on a long list of streets throughout the town that we've worked on over the last several years. There's a list if anybody's interested. I didn't count them, but they're probably close to 20. And I just texted that contractor today, Pavement Solutions. It's probably going to be in October. Their completion date is the end of October, and he knows that, so he's running out of construction season to do his work, but they hop around the entire state and region with a crack seal crew. And I did talk to him earlier this summer, and he's used to running 2 crews, but he's down to 1 crew because of employment issues, I guess I'd say. But they're spread pretty thin and they're pretty busy. So we know he has other work in the area that he'll be back in this region of the state doing, in that kind of greater Lafayette area. We've had this on the back page, Central Avenue. I don't have anything to discuss unless there's anything going on up there that we need to assist you guys with. The home construction is going okay, or if there's been any challenges or issues, just let us know and we can help if we can. And then, I don't know if you want to do this now or just do it at the end of everything, but the 5-year capital plan, we presented that a meeting or 2 ago. And I know you're working on the 2026 budget, but we want to revisit that and try to finalize that prioritization of what projects are going to come next. And there's some other stuff to update on that might affect that discussion. So I'll move on and we can come back to that. Number 7, the water utility. Did you talk to Chris much about these?
Well, about the controls, which I think you guys might get an update on that too. When I hear
Are
controls
you
are
getting notifications now? We're able to.
We haven't had anything other than his testing that he done,
So you haven't had
an actual.
a natural event?
No,
Right, and it's been on our work phones. We also set it up on our personal phones. We can't seem to get any alarms on our personal phones, but on our work phones at least, so.
we're now able to get a text and a message through the app. So we should get both, but eventually he says that the text part will go away.
yeah, that's what
Because it sends out an email and that gets turned into a text, but AT&T doesn't support it. And he said eventually it'll disappear.
it's just a push notification now through the app, correct?
Yeah, well, that just started this week. That should have been working day 1.
Right.
I mean, and a lot of this stuff should have been done day 1. That whole deal is a really, I don't know if it's the guy that's here doing it, Brent, or what, but this whole thing is, I ain't convinced it's good yet. And I think every time he comes out, we have to pay. So I'm not sure how
I haven't seen a bill in, we only saw one.
If there should be any bill for what you said earlier being the case, it being set up day 1. It's all been paid for. It just needs to be functioning correctly.
but I'm not sure that it's still where it should be.
Not that you want to have a bunch of notifications because stuff's happening, but it'd be a good
Yeah.
test to know, hey, it worked right.
Yeah.
On its own.
Russell, what was it with the VFD that he said it was, wasn't the VFD causing the problem?
The fault that we keep getting for the starter fail is something coming from the VFD to him. The VFD tells it to put the alarm in that system. So it's nothing on their side that's causing our starter fail. The one that we keep getting. We went for probably a month with that one.
Yeah.
And then we got like 2 days in a row. And now it's not done it for 2 weeks. Just weird.
That is weird. On the last bullet point on that one, there's just some items listed there for potential inclusion into a project, to prioritize if there's room in the budget for the Okra wastewater project. Did you already make an announcement on there? Do you want to do that?
We did receive the Okra grant yesterday. Mr. Jerry called me yesterday morning and talked to me for about 15 minutes.
So we'll probably want to, moving on to number 8, we'll probably want to circle back with Shannon a little bit to make sure we have our ducks in a row for when things can start rolling forward now, particularly with design, and what that timing looks like.
And seeing that engineering and Shannon's little match, and we don't even have to match it. We got a bond,
Okay.
so it could be a while yet.
Yeah. But we'll get some more detail about what that could look like and what the impact of the schedule of the project will be, the time of the grant needs to be, what the bond timeframe would lay in there and look like, and then what that would mean for starting design and any other parts of the going on towards construction of the project. Stormwater project in Oxford and Laird, I think Tree informed me today on that one that Shannon has been working with potential developer and ready funding and the requirements of ready funding for local match versus private development match, and is getting with the potential developer up north of the Darby addition to get their reaction and commitment to understanding that what order of magnitude their financial commitment is going to need to be if we would pursue ready funding for that. And that will dovetail into, are we going to do anything or need to do anything on West Oxford, extending the storm interceptor from Maine that direction and going up Laird to provide an outfall for stormwater for that development. And the wastewater project for the grant, if you don't remember, it's for some limited plant improvements, primarily at the headworks and grinder, Muffin Monster, whatever it's called, to get an enclosure there to keep freezing and from being a problem with functioning, and then a lot of sewer lining throughout various parts of the town's sanitary sewers that are very leaky. So. And under other items, kind of miscellaneous stuff, we talked a little bit last meeting about details that have rolled out for the 2026 Community Crossings Grant from NDOT. There will be an October call this year for 2026 CCMG. I did check, I don't get kind of jumping around here, but we're set up to get you recertified for your LTAP certification by this December for all 2026 applications. But next year we'll need a program, a PASER reevaluation and LTAP recertification for 2027 going on forward. So we'll make sure that your current PASER and any changes, which Central Avenue would be a 10 on the PASER scale, but we'll update your tables 1 and 2, which are required to get that LTAP certification, make you eligible for CCMG. And then, yeah, 2026 I just mentioned. You want to talk about that?
I just left the bike pit on there for next year for 26, so we can just keep it on the radar.
And the last item on here was the zoning map assistance task order, and we've been meeting with Tim and moving that forward to get a final once and for all current, this is the current zoning map for the town of Otterman, and it has the right zoning classifications and categories, and they're on the right parcels. Because there's some that don't have any classification, there's some that have, there's many that have multiple. And a lot of them make, match pretty much, but some of them don't. So, and we need to kind of lean back on the comprehensive plan about what was envisioned for where, in terms of industrial use or residential use. And then the planning commission will have to probably have some discussion about how many residential zones you want to have. Do you want to have single family and duplex, single family duplex and apartments? There's some flexibility there, and it's kind of what you currently have, is what I was just describing, and then commercial zones too, highway business, central business, something near Main Street here, and then industrial. And you could have 1 or 2 or 3 classes of different industrial use depending on what you might want to allow. So that's kind of our master list of project updates, and then I skipped over the capital plan update to have more discussion on the priorities going forward for the 5-year capital plan. And I don't see that on the agenda any further down, so do you want to have that conversation now?
So I want to talk about the CCMG 2026 because that is, the applications in October of this year. So that means we gotta crunch this pretty quick. So based on that list, the short list of 2020, I was given last meeting. So next year, all I've been able to work up financially for a match is $106,500. And so if we do, let's just say we did 100,000, then our grant would be 400,000, right? So $500,000 per
They could move from 75
to 80. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, people keep talking about Flug Drive. That's 138,000 local match, so that's more than what we have. Unless we can shift some money, which we can talk about in a minute, from 2025 into 2026. And currently we have, I can't do this much because they just told me we had to check on something first, so. We could possibly move 27,800. But, I know there's been mixed feelings on Flug Drive, so let's talk about that first. So,
Because Flug Drive would just be putting the gravel underlayment and making it.
It would be subgrade treatment and gravel and drainage ditches.
How long does that survive without having to redo it if we have to wait 3 to 5 years to pave it?
As long as you maintain it. It should be able, you might have to add gravel and regrade it. As long as we get the ditches draining and a good subgrade, it should be stable indefinitely.
so then your valid point is if we get business, they should have to help and we shouldn't be.
Anything.
What is the base going to support for heavy equipment?
Semis, highway loading. I mean, we're gonna design it thick. It's gonna be tilled in probably 16 to 24 inches, line stabilized or cement stabilized. And then probably 6 to 12 inches of stone with 73s on top of that. The 73s are gonna be what you're gonna have to maintain because they'll move around, but they're much smaller drive on instead of rocks are too big.
My feeling is we have other roads in this town that need fixed more than Flug Drive being just a gravel for a while. There's other ways to get to the Dollar General than down Flug Drive. That's my opinion.
Tree, can I ask you a quick question? So your pot of
I would
local
agree.
match,
I would agree, there's probably a higher.
is it all coming out?
Main
of the
Street,
pot,
South
or
Main
paying
Street
engineering services
is
out of
awful.
a different pot than?
It's awful.
That's highly traveled compared
It's
to.
highly traveled versus Fluke. And if we get business into Fluke, like the Dollar General did their part,
Construction numbers gonna be more
And
like
somebody
three
would help
fifty or
us.
something.
Right. but,
So the town does own that road.
Instead of.
yeah. So, the county's been helping us, both counties have been helping us
So.
grade it and add gravel.
So is that Main Street phase 4?
It would be from
But I
Fifth, I
some
think,
of
to
this
Sixth.
into,
It's mainly the
yeah, 'cause
latter half of that road.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't think there's not currently sidewalks down on that end anyway. So I don't know if there'd be a possibility of doing a CCMG without sidewalks. If there's no sidewalks there currently, I know they like to have sidewalks when we redo a street, Main, South Main,
South Main, so the block.
like Fifth to Sixth.
Fifth to Sixth has sidewalks existing, so you can use.
The
CCD.
second half doesn't.
Well, they're just very,
they're there, but they're buried.
if there aren't any and they're new, truly new sidewalks, then they aren't technically eligible for CCD funding
If we do CCMG funding, do we have to do the sidewalks?
because of ADA, yeah.
Because they're already there.
Because they're already there, even though you can't see them
Yeah, right now, the strollers and everything's out the street.
in the middle of the street, yeah. But, I mean,
So what exactly does that mean?
Does what mean?
So CCMG money can or cannot be used for this?
If the sidewalks are existing in disrepair, then they allow you to include those in the scope of your application. But if it's just a street without sidewalks that you want to add sidewalks, they don't want to allow CCD funding to go to that type of a.
So repairing is covered, new is not.
Same thing on drainage.
So we have to
so
go
we have
with that before we can make a decision.
So what?
And it has to be done.
Yeah, the sidewalks would have to be.
They need
back
to-
in.
They have to be done for the CME.
So, and that one, local funding, we need $250,000, so that is not happening.
Can you do
And
it?
again, it's
Can you do it?
capacity.
Right, can we do a portion of that section, like the section closer down to the, I mean, I know we're skipping, we were doing them in order, but the second half of Main Street in that section, down to the stop sign, is awful. It was in that, we were gonna get it repaved,
And that was,
didn't get it paved, and then,
that's one of the items I did enumerate in the milestone quote that we could ask them to quote. I don't know how much milling they're gonna do, and I haven't looked at it recently, but to me, if you wanna do a temporary fix, to just mill that south half and then put in some wedge and level and resurface it, that will last a while. Especially if you go ahead and crack seal and keep it maintained. It's not, pavement's just failing. It's not like the road's moving. It's pretty stable.
But we can't do CCMG to patch it and patch Main.
You could.
I'm just trying to decide which is the better.
they get
better
the biggest
option.
bang for our buck, so to speak.
Good. It'd be next summer when it gets fixed.
Well, not that it would get done any sooner anyway, so.
Well, if milestone does their awesome number, it could get done in October.
But we're paying 100%
Correct.
instead of 20%, so that's why I'm like, if we can do it part of the CCMG,
Yeah.
it would be smarter. I just didn't know if a repair patch versus what we were planning to do.
No, the mill and fill is overlays are allowed, and a pavement repair, or reconstruction of that spot, we could certainly apply for it and find a category that we think it fits into. I don't know. If it's not. I'm not worried about the south main, it's the intersection one that's more, is that. It's not, they come out and look at it, take pictures and stuff.
Because that's gonna decide if we
Yeah.
move money over or leave it in this year, so. And then the one that we all feel is, there's two that we feel that needs to be up there, is the 7th Street, and they can refer to the Central Street. They've just patched, or they just fixed potholes on it, but people are cutting it off and getting people's yards. And so the sooner we can get that, people's using it, and the more the houses go in, the more it's gonna be used, so.
So the central to Brown, is that what she's talking about?
Was that Central to Brown or Central to Main?
Main to Central,
Main to Central.
So all the way.
yeah, 2 blocks.
And so, yeah, the local match for that is 64.5, so that's,
And we did tell him we would discuss that when he came in.
and then the other one we talked about in our staff meeting was the 2nd Street reconstruction, and we obviously don't have that, but they were wondering if we could do a shorter section
We
of
could.
that.
That was created when that was still gonna be more of a haul road.
Mhm.
So that scope project could be redone, but it's the sidewalks and ramps that are driving the cost on that one, probably as much as anything. So if we did a section that was more pavement addressed than strategic and not just one into the other, and if there's sidewalks and ramps, we're gonna include them.
And there's no
There's no
sidewalks
sidewalks down
on
there.
2nd Street.
Not past Brown.
Right, so you were thinking Indiana to the end,
Okay, that far in.
so Indiana,
To where it turns to
Where
concrete.
it turns to concrete.
Yeah, there's some varied, but they don't connect anything. Yeah.
so that's what we discussed, the 7th, the 2nd at the very end, we did talk about, can we do that instead of the whole thing? Could that be included in the CCMG versus paying milestone? I think that was it, wasn't it?
Does 7th need to be done all the way from
Main to
Main,
The
Just
Brown,
Brown
Brown
to
to
Central?
Main
is gravel,
is
right?
Brown to Main.
Brown to
No,
Main.
Brown to,
Yeah, Brown to Main. I don't think there's a problem.
Yeah,
right.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
I
just
think
from
it just needs to be from Central to Brown.
The gravel.
The
Yes,
gravel part.
yes.
Yeah.
So the only part that was included, or what was included from Brown to Main was just an overlay. So it's not a big portion of that cost. It would just be the surface course when they're surfacing the block from Central to Brown. So, but it's not a reconstruction or anything.
Because that's just gonna pick up use as soon as all the
Yeah,
houses
you just
get
do it
built.
while you're here, because it's gonna be a few $1,000s to go ahead and top coat the one block of existing
I see what
asphalt.
you're saying.
Yeah.
And you still want to see the same traffic, so get it all in the same condition as much as we can anyway.
So, from that list, I mean, I'm gonna give him and I are gonna finish if we're moving any money of this year's into next year's and what we have next year, of what we've discussed, what would the council's top priorities be until we run out of money?
My top priority would be Central, the Central project, Main Street and the
Intersection.
intersection up here,
Yeah,
and then Second Street.
not Fluke. If we can't get Fluke asphalted or paved.
Fluke's always been a two-step process,
Right.
but even doing the first step, it's gonna be several years
before we get this.
we have the money to do the
And
second.
you have a lot of people living over here that would like a nice street to drive up and down.
Because there is ways to get to Fluke other.
Right,
or
we
to
always
the
close that
Dollar
road like we
Right.
do every year.
Yeah.
It gets bad.
It's closed to a couple of months for the winter.
Yep.
You know, you can go around on pavement.
And this intersection up here, it definitely needs to be fixed.
Yes.
It's
For-
bad, I think.
Yes,
And Tippecanoe County's been nice enough.
to help us grade,
Do-
so.
They've been grading once a month.
And you can tell.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not in bad shape, you know, you can tell. People want to drive on it and get dust all over the car, it's still nice.
So,
So why does that road wash out like that? Is that because of the drains on the sides?
The subgrade's wet. There's not enough strength in the material, below to where when it's wet and soft, that the loads of the, whatever trucks, semis that are using are pushing. Basically, they're loaded all the way down as far as the ground needs to go to take it before it stops pushing material around. So we subgrade treat below everything and then put stone on top of that, then it's going to be able to distribute the loads to the underlying soil. Because it's just stone out there now, it's not even like structural stone, it's just gravel road stone that's pit run stuff that's round and then locked together, and who knows how thick it even is.
Because that road was never used. It was never used like it's being used now. Just wasn't put in there to do that.
So fingers crossed we get some more business over there and they can help us.
And when it's dry, it's probably pretty darn strong, but that's because it's dry.
so the intersection up here, Main Street patch and 7th Street are our 3 top. Let's see if we can make it work between what we have left in this year's budget and next year's budget.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll work on that.
That's all we had on our agenda. Do you,
Then
I was just gonna say, you want to talk about pickleball?
Yeah.
I try to listen.
Okay.
And I know Jake will have Dave have a look over here and speak up and see what's.
So did everybody have a chance to read the memo that we put together? We looked at the different codes and best practices and things, and I don't know if I just read from this or what, but Chris Lemiak helped me put this together. I guess I signed it. I read it and had some comments, but it's been a minute or two. So there is some code that does govern some of the do's and don'ts. And a lot of what they're proposing aren't governed by the do's and don'ts more than they are the best practices, so that you can keep access and maintenance. Probably the only one thing that is more of a stricter code type of thing is the well house being kept inside the perimeter fence. So that somebody can't come outside the fence and access that building and be mischievous with your wellhead pumps. And that building does have a removable roof, so there's some maneuverability that you should probably keep around that structure when it comes time to maintain the pumps. But I don't think, we're not comfortable with something like 5 feet as a minimum clearance to that, just so that somebody can't climb up on the fence and jump over on it type of thing. 5 feet's probably not much maneuverability, but you've got at least two other sides and maybe 3 to have access to that. I don't know what you guys think about that. We haven't discussed this with anybody yet. The water tower itself, the minimum spacing that we kind of recommend would be 20 feet. But seeing as how one side's already only 15 feet, we don't see a huge deal in having another side be 15 feet. We looked into code requirements of coating and things. If you ever recoat the tank, it's already too close to residences that it's going to require a shroud. So that's not a new thing, and having the contractor have to work with one side or two sides with 15 feet clearance is something that should be very doable. That was the biggest thing we could come up with as a concern to be aware of for long-term maintenance on future tank work. What else? Oh, the other thing that probably is, it is a more strict code thing, is that the wellhead protection area from the wells go to the northeast, and this area is inside that. And so if there's ever any expansion of sanitary sewer or any kind of uses that would be a risk for the wellhead protection zone, that they follow any code requirements and setbacks. So no new sanitary sewer should put in this area, basically. At least 100 feet outside the radius of the well, is what Chris is recommending, so.
And then you said something about the parking area. You and I talked about the parking area the other day.
Yeah, the parking area along Brown Street is not a concern for like security of the perimeter fence or the proximity that the proposed improvements were. It's just to make sure that they're not installed to dam up any ponding water that's in existence there. And we'll be coming through someday in the future with hopefully some storm improvements, storm sewers and things like that, but it's not, it's contemplated being stone, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and just so long as there's enough separation from the access drive to the water plant, and then people don't try to use the water plant driveway to park on. It's either clearly marked or obvious somehow that there's parking right off the street, very similar to the layout that's on Fifth Street, on the north side of the park. Just envision, and we didn't do a layout or anything, but there's several parking spaces that can be installed there right off the street and should not.
But not all the way up to the drive.
Right. And I don't know if it's worth going on the other side of the drive where the fire hydrant is and some other trees are. But we did look at that, and Ryan was here. Had a little bit of concern about the trees, canopies on the north being damaged or potentially causing harm, but not on the south side of the driveway.
And I think currently they're planning the north side of the driveway.
There's enough depth on the south side, I mean, you can, it just may cause those trees to be unhealthy and die, and they're not, I don't know what kind of trees they are. It's nice to have the trees for shade for both the parking, but also for the park itself too.
I think there's plenty on the south side, plenty of room on the south side.
There is one, yeah, and there's only one tree and it's farther off the street.
How far back from the drive do we need to stay? Do you know?
I don't, you mean off side to side of it,
Mm-hmm.
10, 15 feet, or have, I mean, a parking space, 10 feet or so. Enough to mow and maintain, and not have it be an area that you can't take care of. I wouldn't put it right on it. So, happy to answer any questions, if you guys have any questions.
I have one before you go farther. Back on the front page where you talked about, the existing fences, well, 20 feet is what would be ideal, but 15 feet is sufficient. So 15 feet is sufficient on both sides of that.
There's 15 feet existing now on the north side.
It's already 15
Yeah,
feet on
and
that.
then
If you keep 15 feet on each side.
on the east side, that's okay,
That's
all right,
probably okay.
that was my question, okay.
I think our proposed is 13, or we'd have to give up 1 foot 6 inches. Because it was, to get to 15 feet. I think we can probably do that. The question I have, the only thing that I see that is an issue for us that would stop us on phase 2, there's a pinch point down at the well house.
Mhm.
I believe that's only 8 foot from the fence to the corner of the concrete block. I believe that's right, something like that. We want to have 24 inches or 30 inches of area that when the water runs off, it goes directly into the stone, into the tile and leaves. And then we're gonna put a accessible, a handicap accessible sidewalk. And we thought minimum 42 inches. I think you can go 36, but we thought 42 for the minimum. So when you add that up, I did add that up, and now I'm 2 foot 6 inches away from the very corner of that building. I guess what I'm asking is, since that building sits at a 45-degree angle, and if my geometry and trigonometry still works and all that stuff, for every foot I go one way or the other, I gain a foot. 12 angle foot. So if we have a pinch point at that one point, we would be where we could have,
I don't know where your paper.
I wrote it down somewhere.
I don't know.
Oh, right. The pinch point would be 2 foot 6 inches. So if I go 2 foot 6 inches away, I'm now 5 foot again. On the one side, I don't have any problem. It's on the far side, which is the south side of the building. That's And this is recommendation. So recommendation is, and reality can be a little different.
But the well house is not.
So at that point, if we could figure out a way to get through there, because if we can't get through there, then there's no use to do phase two. I mean, it really is that simple. If we can't get all the way around the courts with the sidewalk and have room for the water runoff to come off, it just seems like to me that we're just gonna make a nice little area to sit and stand, but you really can't, the safety factor that we're trying to build in is, yeah, you got it right there.
So
And I do believe that's close to a 45 degrees. Do I have measurements on that?
you had proposed 13 feet, which was what hit the corners of the pump house.
Okay,
And that's why, and so you're saying that if you had the drainage buffer and a 42-inch sidewalk, you're gonna only have 2.5 feet to the corner?
well, the closest point would be 2.5 feet. That would be the absolute closest point, only for 1 inch, and then it starts getting wider quick. I guess I could say this, I don't want to say this, but you could put a taller fence right there, one section of fence, that would be 8 foot. It looked kind of funny, I think, when the rest of it's 6 foot with 3 barbed wire. But if you're doing it because of a security issue, and that's the reason you're doing it, then it seems like we might be able to protect it a different way than the normal 6 foot fence and a barbed wire. Although, I don't know, I tried to climb the fence with barbed wire, and I can't even climb the fence. So I never got to the barbed wire yet, so I don't know how people get over that. And I'm not making fun, I don't know. But that would be a bad thing for us. If we can't get that, I guess we could bend the sidewalk around a little bit, but I draw straight lines. I'm not good with curves, but we really want the water, all the water comes off of the courts to the west. There's a foot of fall from one side of the courts to the other side. From the east side to the west side, there's like 1 foot and 2/10, I think. So the water's coming off right there. We want to propose a draining system right next to the wall, or close to the wall. We don't want to dig underneath the court. But we need, and then put stone down so we grab that water instantly that comes off and not come across the sidewalk. And then we need the 42 inches of sidewalk.
Is there a narrower drain that you could come up with?
I'm sorry.
Is there,
Ask if there was a narrower drain.
It's 4 inch. Is that what you're asking me?
yeah, how wide is the drain?
4 inch.
Okay.
Oh, they don't have narrow there. It's just one. But the ground drops off. When they built the pad up, the ground drops off. So the water does get wet. And that's what has saved the court for all these years,
Yeah.
I believe. We don't want to disturb that. What we really want to do is make sure we catch the water and get it out of there as fast as we possibly can. And the retaining wall goes down to the north farther. There wouldn't be a retaining wall at the where the water house is, or the pump house. Because the ground comes up. So I guess what I would be thinking about is if there's a way that we could do that one section just closer.
Just address
And then
that.
as soon as we get away, on the one side, we'll be 5 foot away, I don't have a problem. On the other side, as soon as we get 2 foot 6 inches away from that corner, we're gonna be 5 foot again. So we got a 2 foot 6 inch area that's gonna be closer than,
Just a pinch point, trying to deal with that, and then I don't know if the drainage buffer or that could be addressed as well to try to help just keep maybe, just the only thing is sidewalk right there.
Yeah.
And then it transitions back and forth
Right.
between, east and west, north and south of it. And I don't know if the council has concerns with that concept. Do you guys operationally?
and there's no hard, fast rule here.
Right.
Right, it's a recommendation, right?
Well, the wellhead, we gotta keep that,
It needs to be inside.
that part has to.
How much inside, that's more best practices.
Well, I understand. And if it's more than 8 foot, that's great. If it's less than 8 foot, I'll be back. But I think it's like 8 foot something, I'm not sure exactly.
7'6", if I added up your numbers right.
Okay,
7'6".
that's what you got?
I got 90 inches, 42, 18, and 30.
Well, then I'm a little less than 8 foot.
Yeah.
Well, that's the pinch point.
And if we were to build a new sidewalk for the town, we'd build it 60 inches for ADA. You're right, you can go narrower, but for 2 wheelchairs to pass, you're gonna have 60 inches at some point every so often along that sidewalk length, so 2 wheelchairs can pass each other. So we just build them to 60 inches, but the pinch point, and Tim, you probably know better than I do, the minimum is probably more like 48, and then the pinch point can go down to, is it 36 or 42?
36.
So at a single point, like you just had a light pole or something, you couldn't move it. A person can get around to 36-inch
As
wide.
long as they don't travel more than 2 feet. At that point. It's 32 inches at that point, they can't go more than 2 feet.
Yeah.
I guess my question would be is where are you gonna take the water coming off the cords?
I'm sorry.
The drainage, you're saying a 4-inch tile, where are you gonna run the tile to? Because now it just runs into the grass. If
The
you
tile will run, north and south. And if you go down to the property, at the end of the basketball courts, the ground falls off
Okay,
drastically, almost 3 feet. I thought the tile could run out there.
In daylight,
Now, if it needs to go farther, I figure we could put a rock base or something and have the water go into there.
because you got the swing set on the north side, the northwest corner of the basketball courts.
The swing set's on the northwest corner.
And what is
The
it?
swing set on the
Oh, yeah,
northwest.
I wouldn't go down that far.
But what you're saying, you're talking a lot of water.
Well, it could be, yeah. We could turn and go to the east. I mean, there's nothing to say you can't turn, I mean, water, as long as it's going downhill. We could run it to the east, but that's running it toward, I see what you're saying. Where could we go? Where's the water going now? From my transit readings, it's going there now. It might take a
Well,
little
then-
longer to get there.
But part of it now is it's going into the grass,
Yeah,
and the grass is absorbing it. Now you're
Right.
taking that away, you don't have that luxury of.
well, it's gonna have more water quicker, yeah. But my transit readings say that the water all goes that, they slope to the,
Everything that way anyway.
and it goes that way too.
But again, a lot of it's staying in the grass because it's grass.
Right,
Now you're gonna take it away in a pipe and you're gonna flood the swing set area. I don't know, Dave, the property to the north, which is a lowland anyways,
so,
can we pipe it all the way to that?
yeah.
We were not.
This property. Are the pickleball courts the high point and it flows north and south?
No, it flows east to west.
East to west.
The sheet flow flows east to west. I get that, but as far as like, if there's a tile running along this fence line, is the tile flowing that way? That
You
way?
said go north.
No, I thought it said go south.
No, because you said there's a 3-foot drop on the north side of the basketball courts.
No.
Originally you
from the high point down, from one end to the other.
I thought he said north and south.
Did you say north and south?
I gotta think of my directions again. North, okay, yeah. From north and south, the ground fall, the water comes from this, where am I at here?
This is.
Okay, the water comes this way,
Right, east to
1 foot
west,
2, and then it goes that way,
to the north.
all just naturally.
Right.
So that's how it goes.
Okay.
So that's why I was running that pipe down there. One other thing, where that opening is, Tim, we proposed to put a handicap ramp in. We could put it on the left side of that opening, or we could put it on the right side. I redrew it just recently, and I put it on the left side because it just makes so much more sense and make it better for anybody in a handicap situation or whatever. And then it's more expensive to do that, but we run the tile out a little further past the courts. I guess you could put a bubbler in, or you could run it around the corner somehow and have it drain into more of a rock area. I mean,
I think we need to like take a few, a little bit more time and have Dave, Tim, somebody from the town, whoever that wishes to be, and figure out the drainage and
I'm fine.
and everything, and, because I wanna get it right.
Yeah.
Right? I don't wanna put something in and then something gets washed out or something gets flooded or whatever. I mean, I like the looks of the plans, but I just wanna make sure everything is legal set and that stuff,
So your concern is about the water, where it would go?
yeah,
Your concern is not about the pinch point?
Well, that too.
that too, but I guess all needs to be,
I think the pinch point's probably solvable. With just some creativity and tapering in and tapering out.
Yeah.
And get your geometry all hammered out perfectly. And then the drainage though could be something that the right solution might be kind of costly, just because that's the way that stuff goes. If it has to run a pipe some distance and at any depth, that could get more expensive, especially if it has to go north of Fifth Street or there's no infrastructure to tie into is the problem.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when you figure that, I was thinking about a rock base that goes through, the tile is 30 inches down. So it takes a while for the water to even get there. So you have a capacity just within the rock itself. And I thought we used a decorative type rock or something bigger so that it wasn't just stone and compacted. We weren't thinking it needs to flow through.
yeah, it has always.
So, and then we also have the pipe that we proposed is has I call it a hose or a sock. It filters out any of the dirt and this type of thing. So that slows it down as well, I think. I'm not an engineer, because that's what common sense tells me that.
that's why I hired him.
It's slows it down.
It filters
Is it possible to get that water into the water tower area with drains and pop-ups
I don't know.
to allow it to go into the?
I don't know, we'd recommend that, unless there's a good place for that water to continue on naturally, because it has good fall, which it doesn't, it's all flat, relatively flat. Then it'd be a nice spot for these guys to deal with when they're in there trying to do something, or the contractor. And if the water's trying to go north, which it is naturally anyway, that's the best place to try to keep it going, and just not cause a flooding problem at the swing set or in the park. You know, it's cheating the water now. The amount of hard surface they're talking about adding is not, it's a 10 or 20% if that, of the current pickleball court, basketball court area. So the impervious surface, if they were doubling that, that'd be one thing. Because that's twice the amount of runoff that you're seeing. If there's other things in the picnic or social area that can be done to minimize impervious area and not have it all just be hard surface, or have it be things that can cheat water slower than concrete, that's gonna go a long way to really not changing the volume of water or the timing of how it gets concentrated, even if it's in a small tile or a pipe. But that outflow pipe has to have a good place to go, because it's gonna get there in a matter of minutes when rain hits versus half a day or a day.
Well, can you guys set up and talk it out, figure it out?
And the only other question I had was, didn't somebody have to check on running a water line from the treatment plant to a hydrant? Has that been approved? Wasn't that, who does that?
We talked about that when we were.
We talked about that was in the,
Ron said something about there was, I don't remember details, but Ron, do you remember?
There is a connection point inside the well house.
And Chris was like, don't know that we want, because that's raw water,
Oh, right.
not treated water, so then you can turn everything orange, so you don't wanna do that. So then we were supposed to be researching where else can we get water other than the well house, because we don't want.
What's that hydrant that's already out there?
On Brown Street?
Well, by the pavilion.
That's water, treated water.
Treated water.
Yeah.
That'd be too far.
it wouldn't be coming from the pump, it'd be coming from the treatment plant. Yeah, because the other thing, rusty water, I would think, yeah, we don't want,
We don't.
that would not be good for the courts, I wouldn't think.
We looked at coming out of the building. itself, bringing the line out, but then you gotta go down 3 feet to get it over there, so. And it's how do we get from the building down 3 feet that we're not exposed anywhere?
Are you
At the
just-
building.
Are you just wanting a water hydrant?
Yeah, a 6-foot hydrant, a normal, I call it a farm hydrant.
Right.
Yeah.
So what if it was on the basketball side?
That helps out.
What if it's on the basketball side?
It's not on the basketball.
Well, what if it was?
If it could be.
Oh. Just not as handy.
Because you could maybe come off of that hydrant that's by the pavilion, because that's hooked to a water meter and run it
Oh,
by
yeah.
the pavilion and put it over there possibly, but probably not where you really.
Well, Russell, I happen to go down and measure some stuff. If you go from the treatment plant, it's 150 feet. And that's if you do just a straight angle to I gotta think about my directions. If you go south 50 feet and then go over to the courts, that's 150 feet of water line. If you go from the other, if you try to get to the same point, obviously, it's considerably further.
Yeah.
And then the electric was, I drew the electric in, because I figured you'd come straight south out of that plant, so you don't hit anything. I don't think we want to shut the town down. I don't think we want to hit a water line or something. So I felt like we might want to go
Yeah,
to the
there's
south
lots
and
of
come
stuff
out.
I can look at.
So either way,
So if you.
I didn't know if that had to be approved. I thought if they wanted to run it, they could.
I think the only thing we commented on was that you don't want to use the raw water. That was the first idea that it was going to get looked into for other connection options.
Honestly, I don't see why it can't come out of the treatment plant, because there's already an outside spigot there.
Yeah.
Right.
On the south side of the
Right,
building, so there's gotta be something there hooked you inside the building and.
I would think so. And you know, we're happy. I have a guy
That would be the
that,
other thing, it wouldn't be metered, so I don't know if we could put a meter base,
I have to.
put a meter
You'd have to put a meter.
pit in somewhere to meter the water.
And how much would that cost?
the only thing that, I'm sorry.
Off the top of my head.
The only other thing I was gonna bring up is the electric. At the same time, it'd be nice if you could run both things at the same time. I know they're proposing an 1.25-inch conduit, right? I'm not against an 1.25-inch conduit. I'm just trying to understand why we need one. Unless you're thinking about shoving a different wire through at some point.
The distance you're going, you're gonna lose it, you're gonna have a drop, so you're gonna have to have something a little bit bigger to get it, to carry it that far.
Well, I was thinking underground wire, like if we buried like a 10-3 or a 10-2 with underground wire, it's less money, but, you know, if you hit it, you're gonna. Yeah. But if you hit plastic conduit, you're probably gonna go through that too, so.
Well,
Anyway, we can offer
Cody,
trenching
you get
service
rid of
if you want it done.
code is you can't put them in the same, if you put them in the same,
Yeah, you can't put them in the same.
Okay, well, we're gonna do this, you guys figure out a time to meet, and we're gonna move on with the meeting,
Because we've got it.
because I've got things to do. We got the other things to discuss.
And just, I mean, I know he'll be happy to meet you if you wanted to meet you down there, if you guys want to do it on your, whatever, just,
as soon as this is over.
Okay.
physically need to go sit down there.
Yeah.
Look at it.
I mean,
Figure it out.
We can help assist if you need, if you don't, that's fine. We don't really need it.
He'll call you, he knows how to get a hold of you.
Okay.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did we wanna go to the capital improvement plan?
So,
Oh, I kind of covered it. Well,
I didn't know if you had any other,
the thing was just to come up with the priorities, that we would
Okay.
take that short list down and reorganize it, reorder it into
Okay.
priorities, and I think we got that pretty well accomplished for the near term stuff.
okey dokey. Anything else, Dave? Okay, public comments?
Yes.
Good. Yes. Dang it. Claims,
I just thought that too.
general, $29,974.84. LECE Police Training, $275. Donation Parks, $2427.47. Community Center Fund, $200. CCD, $715.31. Water operating, $11,087.92. Wastewater treatment operating, $21,808.87. Stormwater utility operating, $21,8654. Payroll, $38,693.60 for a grand total of $107,369.55.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims. I'll second.
All in favor? All opposed? All right, department head reports. Tim?
So I just a couple things real quick. We are working on, having a APC meeting. Judd and I have been emailing back and forth. It's been in the paper for September the 4th. And then that, which is we're gonna go over basically what the grounds are as being an APC member and what that entails. And then from there, we'll get together again and we're gonna be talking about what Dave was talking about earlier about how we're gonna put our zoning together. R1, 2, 3, if we wanna go forward, industrial, commercial, whatever. So we want to be able to bring that to the board sooner than later. And then at the same time, we will be bringing something to the board on what we feel would be more adequate for permitting fees compared to other communities. There's some updates that we made on your ADA transition stuff. And then with that, I spent all last, I think it was Wednesday, with NDOT on some of the things that they're requiring us to do now, as far as when you send anything out to bid, paperwork that has to go with it, and one of it is that 14-page FHWA 1273. Have you read it? And basically what it, in a nutshell, what it's saying is, this NDOT, Department of Justice pushes to NDOT, to the Department of Transportation. Department of Transportation is now starting to push it down to municipalities, making you make sure that the contractors that you hire abide by ADA and Title VI policies. So when they sign a contract to do work, they're saying that they're going to follow those procedures. So there's a whole lot more into it than that, but that's in a nutshell what it comes down to. So we have to come up with, anytime you send anything that you're gonna put anything out for bid or quote that exceeds $10,000, you've got to put this terminology into your contracts. So. That's mine. I'll keep it short.
All right,
The guys are doing a great job. You can say that. So.
okay, thanks for the good news. All right.
Okay, the guys can stay or they can go, we're done with projects.
Okay.
Your choice. but- It's up to you.
If you get a chance, go by the park today.
Okay,
Yes,
We put mulch down in the playground today, we put the swing up, it looks
it looks very nice.
very nice.
I'll take a detour on the way.
Great.
Fire hydrants are all painted. That was quite a job.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I guess, I can fill you in. So the next topic, now that the fire hydrants are painted, they are now going to start painting the curbs, the crosswalks at the school and the parking areas. And Tim's gonna work with them because we are not in compliance with ADA on.
We're also, Jason and I had a meeting, we're also going to work with Russell and Aaron on coming up with a plan, because there's requirements as far as how far off the curb that you can bring a parking spot and how far from stop signs, to make sure that, we don't want to just go back and paint it the way it was, because it doesn't mean it was right. So we want to make sure that everything is as.
Was that your conference out in the middle of the street?
Yes, you saw me, yes.
In the hydrant. Yeah, Jason waved, you didn't wave.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so my back was to you. And so you guys know, on Main Street, because you have parking in the middle from From first to second, you need 2 88 parking spots, and from Oxford to First, you need 1. Because you have 25 parking spots from Oxford to First, and you have 30 from First to Second. And you have to have 1 for every 25. So with 30, you have to have 2 parking spots. The hard part is gonna be making it event accessible.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so we had, oh, gee, where's my page over?
Which packet are you looking for?
I'm looking for the information on the payment arrangement. We didn't get.
Yep.
It's okay, we just realized we didn't have the signature page for the contract. It's been a challenge this week. So we have a resident that is currently on a pay arrangement, and,
Those are only 3 months, correct?
those are normally 3 months, and the part that's on the pay agree is $168.52, and then she has to keep her current bill paid, and so that would be September, October, November. Well, she went into details about how much money that she collects and how much is left at the end of her normal bill cycle. And she is requesting that instead of 3 months, that she could have it 6 months to get the $168.52 paid. So
Is she paying it on time?
there is no payment time. The
She
way
just has to stay current.
she just has to keep her current bill current, and she has to pay on the 168
Okay, plus the regular.
plus the regular. And she's just, and then at the end of the 3 months, typically, everything would be completely, the current, it's always current, and then that past due would be paid. She's asking if she can have 6 months instead of 3 months.
I don't have a problem as long as she's paying and paying some on the past due. I mean, everybody has problems and goes through things, as long as she's paying.
Making an effort
Yes.
to get it out.
She contacted them.
Yeah, she contacted us, she's really trying to work. I do not feel that this will be a problem.
I don't have a problem with it.
So that's a
I'll make a motion to process the payments on the water bill.
All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you. Now back to the 2026 budget discussion. So, when we met last week, we were still $60,000 shy. And then, something kept nudging at me that a number that the state had given us was not correct for us. And so I reached back out to a different person at the Department of Local Government Finance, and I was correct. It was not correct. And basically, our cross-county thing had been, not in all numbers, just in one number, they had forgot one of the counties. So that solved about 40 of our 60, so I was getting happier.
Yes. Yes.
So then, I know I sent you an email kind of explaining some changes with payroll that could possibly fill that void, plus, make room if you guys so choose for a full-time officer instead of part-time. With that said, your colored sheet of paper looks like this. we don't have to discuss it tonight. If you don't feel comfortable discussing that because you haven't had time to study it. But, basically what I said in the email, this is just the detailed breakdown of what I said in the email. So Kitty and Aaron would continue at 40 hours a week and get their $1,500, that's what we try to give them, raise $1,500 a year. So that would give Kitty his $1,500, that would give Aaron the $750, since he's already been getting raises since he was hired, or opportunity to get raises, I should say. And, so that would leave Russell getting a raise and working what he's been working 30 hours a week. Ron, this would take Ron from 24 hours a week down to 20 hours a week. And those three would cut the budget by $3,387, that combination. So Jason and Chris would get their normal $1,500 and would work their normal 40-hour work week. Jason would like to hire the full-time deputy with no part-times, and that would add $43,957 to his salary and benefit budget. Council staying the same. Tim Clark, I am proposing that we cut him 2 hours a week, and that would save us $14,440.
Can we do that? Can you do that, Tim? Can we cut you? Yes.
We don't lose you.
And then Dee would get her raise via going from the deputy clerk to the chief deputy clerk's position. So she would go up to that rate of pay. Debbie would get a raise from going from utility clerk to deputy clerk at full-time status instead of part-time status. And, oh, I doubled that comment. Look at me, I have it on there twice. Yeah, and I would also say the same. So obviously, with the savings other savings that I'm pushing around, we would be tight, but I think we could do the full-time, the second or the third full-time deputy. I will tell you my hesitation, I think that we need it, but I also, because of the tax cuts that we are hearing is coming down the next couple years.
Won't have enough to support it down the line.
Or who or what will get cut at that point.
Well,
I
the
mean,
part-time people are not working for Jason. I mean,
No, it's
Jason and
not.
Chris can't keep doing it, so I think we almost have to hire, if we can get somebody here that wants to stay here for full-time, rather than mess around with trying to get all these part-time people.
Well, we'll also have to keep in mind, like she said, down the road,
Right.
we may not, something's gonna have to give somewhere. And that's just the hard
And I
fact.
mean, granted, we don't know, we're hearing it's significant, but we don't know how significant yet. And I guess we always play that. We didn't know we were gonna get the cuts we got this year of, an extra $25,000 cut in, in our property tax that we're not gonna get. So we don't know.
I mean, and I hope we would get somebody, in a timely manner, but we've also seen that
That takes forever.
it takes forever, so I mean, we could give it the go-ahead to look, but you may not get anybody either, which is sad for us, but.
I don't think we can wait and wonder what's gonna happen in 2 or 3 years. I think we need to go forward and let Jason start looking and get somebody hired, and then we can't predict the future. If it happens, it happens, and then we'll do something then.
Okay, so, I'm going to put in the budget these numbers.
Okay.
For these salary numbers for 2026, if that's good.
That's good.
We don't have to make no decisions because you'll adopt that during the adoption, but, so I know what to put in there. So, you know, I mentioned that our software company has merged with another company. And so here's a big packet. And so the company that they are merging with is called Voice Cloud, powered by BSNA. And so we have spent quite a bit of time going through demos of the different modules and different things that they are going to provide. They are not telling us when Keystone is going away. However, they have acknowledged it is going away.
Is Keystone going away for everybody?
Yes, they will be merging this company, BSNA. They have bought Keystone out. And so, we tried to get 3 years, 5 years, what are you saying? And then they hem haw and we go, oh, probably within 10. Well, you know that that's not the case. So, anyway, so Voice Cloud, we demoed with that one. We demoed with another company called Fry. So with municipality financing and state board of accounts requirements, there's not a lot of software companies out there that meet the requirements that the state requires us to have. There were 4 companies that the state has in their drop down of softwares that we use when we fill out our annual report. And one does finances but no utilities, so that one was out. The other one we've had before years ago and it didn't work, so we're not going with that one. So it brought us down to these 2. And so the Voice Cloud is a Cadillac. Like, amazing. There were still issues there were still things I would have to work, like, we'd have to do differently than we do today. That was a little disappointing when they're merging Keystone. You'd think everything we have in Keystone would go with them, but it's not. So there's a few things. We tried to ask some questions about, so Keystone is a single entry accounting software, and that is all the state requires. Neither one of these companies or any of the others we can find have single entry accounting. So we're gonna have to learn double entry accounting. I do know double entry accounting, but a lot of people don't. So that's gonna be a real struggle. But when I was talking to the different firms about it, the guy from Voice Cloud was very defensive, very quick as to why don't we need that. And I took offense that if that's how you're gonna talk to a prospective customer, how are you really going to treat us when we are? So I was a little set back by that. But as you can see, their fees are extremely higher than Fry's. And Fry is a very doable system. It has a lot of things that the Voice Cloud isn't going to offer. Again, it had some things that we're gonna have to learn to do differently because it doesn't offer everything that we do now. It's not as pretty, it's not as Cadillac, but it gets the job done. I felt like it got the job done. The first year, would be, Voice Cloud would be, the first year, $52,000. But Fry would only be $30,000.
That's a lot.
And then, their annual, these are subscription based, so we would pay an annual subscription. And so, as you can see, the subscription, the second year, Voice Cloud would be $29,347, where Fry would be $17,000. So as you go across a 5-year cost,
Wow.
yeah, Fry is a lot. And so when asked Voice, year over year, what is the increase expectation? And they said 5 to 8%, but here in recent years, they've been only seeing 5. So this scenario shows a 5% increase, but we could see 8%. Fry said the year over year increase is 2%, and they are giving us the guarantee of the first 5 years.
Oh, wow, that's.
So voice could be even higher.
Yes,
Yes.
and yes, yeah.
Yes. So,
I mean, were you guys
My
comfortable with
my
that?
answer is I don't want to change, but the reality is we don't have a choice because they've been bought out, so.
How was Fry's, customer service with you
So
guys?
that was very impressive because one of my biggest pet peeves with Keystone right now is the way that the state requires us now to do depreciation on assets, and Keystone wouldn't work because the State Board of Accounts says you can do it however you want. They showed examples. I'm like, oh, well, I understand what you're talking about. That's how I'm gonna set mine up. And then Keystone's like, no, we're only doing it this way. And I'm like, but I wanna do it this way. So I've been doing my depreciation on an Excel spreadsheet. So I talked with Fry, and he goes, let me do some research and get back with you. He called me back and he asked more questions, and then called me back and he says, we can make our system work for the way you want to do your depreciation.
Well, right there
So
shows
I felt like they really are willing
listening.
to do that. Voice is still a system where we call into a help center and we get whoever we get on the phone. And when Keystone switched to that kind of system several years back, our customer service went way down. Fry, you're assigned your person, and when we have questions, we talk to that person.
Well, right there, that's way in gold right there.
So, even though it's not as pretty.
Okay, so it's not as pretty, but you may get more benefit
Out of
from them anyway.
And honestly, I don't know how we can afford voice calling.
No.
That is just,
I mean, I'm happy that you're saying that you were happy with Fry,
Yeah.
and that they're working with you, and that we'll have our own, having your own person to talk to when you have an issue is gold anyway.
You can tell voice by.
so,
It's happened before.
It's the way of the world, right?
So, currently with Keystone, I asked what I knew our maintenance fees had been going up pretty significant. We call them maintenance fees on the Keystone system. They said, they are doing 8%. And so this year, our maintenance fees were $13,525. Next year, if we stay with Keystone, it's $14,607. The Voice Cloud trying to do scare tactic or whatever. They say if we sign up now, these are our first year. fees, the 52, but if we don't sign up in the next 60 days, that grows to over $80,000. Because they are waiving in this packet, they,
I don't like sales.
I don't like, they're currently waiving, calling it an early adopter discount of $37,025. So
I
if
don't
we,
like salesmen that also get crabby with people either.
It sounds like they're geared towards large cities.
yes, they are
Right.
not small
Not-
units, yeah.
So let them have their large cities.
So, I mean, we could hold off and, see how long Keystone lasts, but we have noticed since they bought out our customer service. Dee, how's our customer service with Keystone right now? Not so
Probably
good.
non-existent.
Yeah.
Like they've got the writing on the wall and they just kind of checked out. And the writing is on the wall. And if we can get in before Keystone goes away all the way.
Because I think even any customer knows that this
Yeah.
company's gone, all of them's gonna jack prices.
Yeah,
But that's not really my main, I mean, that is a concern that I don't wanna have a higher buy-in in a year or two. I also don't want to be told, oh, well, we're done, and now you have to go and we've not budgeted for it.
Right, right.
And because it is going to a double entry accounting, and I'm on my way out the door, and Dee has to learn all of the clerk treasurer's job, plus a new software. If we can get it in the budget, I think we need to do it now, so that I can gear her through that, and she's learning a new system from the get-go and how that works with the clerk treasurer's job versus, I know Keystone Utility, and now I'm learning Keystone Funded Payroll, but now I gotta forget that and learn another new system. So
Marina's gonna be.
that's why, yeah, so,
When's the annual lapse?
so our Keystone is usually renews in March. Mhm. And so, if we were to tell Fry tomorrow that we're gonna go with them, I think they said it's still 4 months before we even start the process because,
And it needs to be in place by March then?
yes, they said once it's in here, once it gets going to get it, everything done and training would be another 3 to 4 months.
so right around March.
Yeah, so we can make that happen. The only thing that makes me nervous, and there is an option in there, but I'm willing to try the cheaper option first, is this includes, where they come in remotely to do our training versus in-person training. But they're in three-hour segments. And they said they have been doing this for years and it works really well as long as our pre-homework is done. So that, I guess that makes sense, but, they will come here, but it's an additional cost. And, we also have to pay for
Lodging.
their lodging, their travel. However, the BSNA training, their fees included training on site, but it did include, and there's another clause in there that says, and lodging, or so much a day, or whatever, so, yeah.
It should be included with how much I'm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, set up the training was twice.
Yeah.
Upfront. Right.
So, I think we're willing to try it, but I wanna reserve a little money if I'm like,
Just in
I
case.
really need somebody to come here, sit here beside me for at least a day or two.
Right.
We kind of like that cushion in the back of our head. And they said we can change even midstream if it's not working, so.
Okay, well then I would try to do that. I think it would make you feel more comfortable knowing you had the option.
because I know double entry accounting.
Mhm.
Betsy knew all the IT stuff.
You got to sit here, can that be her one day?
Yeah, I'm hoping that will be her one day. But that's what I have. I don't really want to spend the money, but
I know, but
the end result is
We're gonna have to eventually anyway.
Fry's annual maintenance is equal to what we're paying today. So it's just this initial cost.
It's just really only like a $15,000 difference, 16.
Yeah, so anyway, I will need a motion if you wish us to move forward with software.
I'll make a motion for software, Fry,
I'll second.
all in favor,
Aye.
all opposed?
So I will get that worked into the budget as well. The other, I'm not gonna go through it, the other partial budget and budget projections and prior expenditures, we only gave you what has to go into the gateway, not the utilities. I'm still working on the utilities. So we have to, so that's just, the only numbers that really changed is what we talked about in the salaries and stuff, and trying to make everything work. So you can take that, study that. If you have questions, we can talk about it. I have to advertise the budget by September 8th is what they said, right? Yes, September 8th. I'm not gonna wait that long because I'm on vacation, so it's gonna be advertised by the end of next week. And that is when I've heard somebody say they can't be here on the 18th.
Right. I can't.
Okay, because currently I had the date set for September 18th is the public hearing, and I just need 3. And I'm also not going to be here
Is it
these,
the 18th or the 12th?
the 18th.
18,
Okay.
Our second meeting, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
18,
second meeting.
the 18th. I'll be here. Jackie
I'll
said she'll
probably
be
be
here. You guys make it to the September 18th meeting?
Because I was gonna say, if we need to slide it, now's the day, because that'll be a lot rides on that public hearing date being advertising in time.
Yeah, I'll be able to make it.
Okay, all right,
You're good, just
So-
let us know.
all right.
Linda and you.
I'll be out the 4th. I'll be out.
You'll be out the 4th.
Yes.
Everybody else is here on the 4th? I'm not here on the 4th either. Dee's gonna handle it.
He's got us all of September.
I'm trying to think, oh, yeah, because our second meeting fell on August. So, okay, so the 18th is good, and then the adoption is our first meeting in October. And again, I just need to verify we're gonna have at least 3 here, so we can adopt the budget
Second,
on the 2nd of October.
I'll be here.
And I'll be here.
I will.
Okay, cool. So I can stick with those dates so I can get this advertised. We will need between now and October meeting, we will need to have another budget meeting so that we can talk about everything, the utilities and everything. The only thing that I need from a BF&S standpoint, and maybe you can enlighten us a little bit, is the state is now requiring this asset management plan. A law change, or they changed the law, and requiring utilities to have an asset management plan, and we are gonna have to do an annual report. We're gonna have to do a report, even though we're not under the IURC. We have to do a report to the IURC showing that we have an asset management plan, showing that our board members has taken some training, And if we don't meet that in our reporting, we get one warning. And then the second time, if we've not complied, they put us back under the jurisdiction of the IURC. And we don't want that. So,
What's the timing on that goes into effect, is that next year?
so we will have to report in January of 2027. So that means we have 2026 to get our ducks in a row.
I talked to Chris a little bit about it.
Okay.
He didn't act like it would be that big of a deal, but that's all, we didn't talk much.
Okay.
So
Because-
why don't we want to be under the IURC?
So if you're under the IRC, they give you a lot more regulations that we have to follow. And anytime we want to do a rate increase, they have to review that and they get to decide, not the council decides, if we get one or not
And what it'll be.
and what it'll be, whether it meets our criteria or not. And, there's a cost associated with that, which then makes the rates, you gotta have the rate to cover their increase, to pay them to review everything. Many, many years ago, we were under the IURC, and when we had to go for a review under them, it was years ago, like $25. Just to have them review it. So, nobody
So if we
wants,
just stayed under them, our water bills would be $400 a month now instead of $200.
Could be.
If not higher.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to rationalize, that's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand, because, again, for years, I've not been on the board, I've not seen this.
right,
I hate my water bill,
right,
and most of the town people do.
Yeah.
Right,
yes, most of
So-
us do,
because also we don't understand it,
right.
so.
And also, yes, so they could even say that, no, we don't think that this is sufficient, that we don't think what you're requesting is good, and not give us enough to do the repairs. Typically, I see it go the other way though, but we don't, they're like, oh, but you need to do this and this and this as well, that,
So then they hike the rate higher than what we would have suggested?
Yeah.
As a council?
And,
So it
and they'll
can go
also
either
do
way.
it all in one lump sum, instead of, sometimes we do gradual, like,
Basis.
little phases, so it doesn't, so you don't jump.
because you don't want to go before them too many times.
Yeah.
So then you get down to where you're really getting broke, and then you do a huge increase, and that's very hard on the residents to do that.
Yeah, sure.
I've never heard anything good about it.
No comment?
It's taking local control out of your hands.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Thank you.
So this is a meeting that we will schedule at some point in time to go through our training to comply
Yeah,
with
once
that.
I get through that law, I haven't had time to look at that new law to know what the actual
Okay.
requirements
But
are.
we have a little bit of time.
Yes, yes. I'll find out what the requirements are and how that, is it gonna be webinars, is it gonna be in, like, they expect you to go to in person? If they don't care, as long as you get something, I'm still trying to dive into what,
Did we ever
Your
get the
requirements.
one scheduled that we were talking about before all this started?
you know, I sent him an email right before conference, but I'm sure he was there, we didn't even see him, but there was a lot of people there. So I have not got through all my emails since back from, but I don't recall seeing it. But that, I need to know if that one's gonna count.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Did we
okay,
set a meeting?
I would like you guys to, set a meeting, but I should have brought my calendar in too. But I think I'm on a schedule. So sometime in September, another budget meeting.
You just need to come here and find me.
Will you, when are you out, like,
So I am gone the first week of September, and then Dee and I are at conference the 10th through 12th.
Okay.
And then I'm gone the 18th and 19th. Other than that, you can pick any day you want. And then camping is pretty much done. And then I'll be back.
So either like the 16th or 17th, or either the 23rd, 24th, something like that?
I can't do the 24th, but the 16th, 17th, and 23rd work for me.
How about the 16th or the 17th?
Either one works for me.
Any work for me?
Me too.
Well, let's do the 16th then.
Okay.
Craig, does that work for you?
Yeah.
The 16th?
Budget meeting,
What time?
will you?
5:30?
5:30, there you go.
Same time, we don't want to change times.
No, I like it at 5:30.
Okay. Got it down.
There you go, Dee, thank you.
16th at 5:30.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 16th at 5:30. Anybody have any questions or anything that's come up with, oh, you forgot that?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on budget that you guys have questions, concerns? Dee's learning a lot about budget.
Yeah, I have a question about the parks.
Okay.
Because you said there was only like $5,000 in the park fund. We're gonna have 3 parks to take care of. We're gonna have the big one, we got the little Thompson Park, and then the little park that's going in.
So maintenance wise, that $5,000 should be sufficient. There's just no money for any improvements. So there is no money to add anything.
So what we have to keep pretty.
Right, but.
Well, that park's looking great.
Yeah,
That
it
park
is.
will be brand new.
So it should be okay.
Yeah.
But this little Thompson Park, I think it looks bad. Cause I went up there, well, right for the festival, and there's thistles all over the grass. I mean, like this tall.
Oh,
And of course, in the flowers, and, you know, I think some places need some mulch. And I don't know, we probably don't have it in the budget to have a lawn care come and at least spray it one time. And maybe our guys could do it. I'm sure Russell knows how to, you know, put the,
This was the first year we have not had a company come, but the contract was like many times a year and it was getting really salty and we thought we could take care of it ourselves, but I guess nobody even thought about it. So-
well, I have a lawn care service and I have it twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And I thought, even if we could get that. Well, like I said, it just looked bad. I went to a funeral and I was standing outside by the little park there, Thompson, and I was really ashamed of it. I mean, it looked awful.
Especially with thistles, I haven't looked close at it before. Because
Right.
those have been pulled out. and stuff.
Right, I know. That's just my thoughts. You know, which I guess I could volunteer and go up and pull the weeds like I have in the past. But this year, I just didn't get to it.
Well, and honestly, I think that's probably, so obviously we have new people, but Ron and you having it sprayed, you guys volunteering and having it sprayed, all we've ever done is go up there and mow and leave, so the guys probably don't even know that they need to do anything else, because that's just nothing we've ever done.
Right. So that's just, you know, my thoughts on it. So I just wondering if that was it, 5,000, that's it. Okay.
We can put more money in, but the problem is if we put more money in, we have to
It's gonna
decide
take away
from somewhere else.
Right.
So
I
that's why we hoped that we could put money for capital improvements in the parks and add some more stuff at the park.
Right. And it looks very nice too.
but there's just not,
Okay, I'll roll up my sleeves and I'll go down there and pull
so
some.
we can look at getting like a more, not as expensive.
Right.
Whoever does yours.
Well,
That's to me.
Because what we were having, they were coming many times during the summer, fall, and they did a fall and a spring, and they did other stuff throughout the summer.
right,
And it was just getting really too pricey.
right. Now, when Russell mows people's property, does he spray or do anything to their lawns besides spray? Okay.
To go, do you want me to sign something?
I don't even, we forgot to print them off, I'm not gonna print them off. I'll get your signature next
Okay,
time.
I'm gonna sneak out then.
It's just
Okay.
claims
I
and
know that people are waiting.
They can wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
There. I'll talk to you guys.
I mean, I definitely think we need to have enough money to maintain what we got.
Oh, yeah.
And that would include some mulch, it will include, the little things that, you know, like if we need to replace a swing,
Right.
I guess swing, not the swing set, but the swing or that,
Painting or whatever.
yeah, but the big stuff, we'd have to figure out. But I think that either we do it ourselves, spray, or get somebody to spray, would still be within that
Right.
$5,000. We just need to, or find out what needs done and who's going to do it.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
good.
Right. And the swing down there looks nice too, the
I'll drive by.
parent swing or whatever, mommy swing. That looks really nice.
Any other budget questions? Okay, apparently Tim forgot. He's got a new person.
It was, the last meeting, Derek was here about putting the cell tower.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes.
You weren't at, was he?
Was it the last meeting? Or
I remember
it was a
the
prior
new guy.
one. Yeah, it was the last
Yeah.
meeting.
So,
He wanted to
Linda
know what our updates were on that, like what,
I don't,
We were waiting to hear from Jeff.
we were waiting for,
here for Jeff, okay.
I thought we were even waiting for Tim to share the information, like we've not even.
He said it was better than the other, and he sent the information to Judd, and that was how it was left.
Oh, I thought he was gonna send it to everybody. I
That's
don't
what I
even
thought.
know.
We didn't get an email.
I didn't get copied on any email to Judd either, so I don't think any of that's happened.
Okay.
So there's your update. We still don't know.
We'll verify with that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
totally, that was not even on my radar.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yep.
All right,
I've been asked about the property at the end of 4th or 3rd Street also.
property at the.
The person that bought that and was gonna put a repo business there.
So the last update is now he doesn't know if he's going to do that. He may just tear it down and put in a house. That was the last update we've heard.
That'll make some people happy in that area.
Now,
And that'll make my life better too, so thank you.
that
Where's
was,
that at, Craig?
The end of 3rd Street,
Around the
that's
corner.
where Wilkinson used to live,
Okay,
that big shed barn
Right.
where he worked out of.
okay.
So the guy that bought that was gonna put in a repo place where he could repo vehicles and bring them down there and store them.
Oh, yes.
that was the last update I got, which was, it might have even been Tuesday that I asked where that stood.
Okay, because I mean, there was some discussion about, you know, if you could even do it, if the zoning allowed for that. And I didn't know if Tim had researched it or where we had gotten with that, but I've been asked a couple times for an update.
He had researched and he had I think he'd even sent a letter to the guy.
Okay,
And he did have a conversation with the guy, and then the guy said that he was considering building a house there instead.
okay.
So, and we've not really seen much more activity down there.
Okay. Yeah, I was told they were cutting some trees and things down along maybe the tracks or the area there, so.
So if I hear differently, I'll let you know, but that is what I've heard last.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn at 7:28. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting, Linda.